Okay, I think we're live. I think this is working. All right, so as you guys know, yesterday we didn't do a stream because I needed to make sure, well, I needed to roll back my software that I have for Mac OS X because I was having nothing but issues with the software, with the operating system there, and with the program that I'm using. So I rolled everything back yesterday and reinstalled everything yesterday and today as well. So it looks like we're live. Let me know if we're live here. In the comments, let me know if you guys are able to see this. You guys should be able to see this, but let me know for a fact. And then can you also hear me pretty well? That's the other question I have for you guys here. Let me know in the comments on that side of things. Let's see. Okay, we got viewer counts. Okay, All right, that seems to be working. Okay, so let's see here. I'm gonna give it a couple seconds here for you guys to comment on whether or not you guys can hear me. We're live. You're loud and clear. Perfect. Okay, thank you so much for that. All right, let's get into it here. So obviously Bitcoin went down today, got down below 89,000. We hit 88,000 something, right? So that's roughly 30% from where the top was at 126,000 roughly. Okay, so that's at least good there. We've seen this happen before twice in the last year and a half. We saw it happen obviously back in April when we fell from January to April, 30%. We also saw that from last year before the halving event where Bitcoin went to like 77,000 something, and then we went down to 40 some thousand, right? It was another 30% correction at that point as well. So we've had two of those. This is the third one here recently. Obviously, each time we did that, we did go to new all-time highs. Today, obviously, we had also Nvidia reporting their quarterly results. They saved us, more or less, or at least they didn't, I wouldn't say they saved us. I think they basically let us know the same things that we were kind of thinking, at least that I was thinking, that this is not an AI bubble that we're in, and that Michael Burry and others are wrong about this, completely wrong, right, about their calculations as far as depreciation amounts or time lengths on depreciation as well. All of those things have been debunked here just by this current quarterly results here from Nvidia. We'll get into that. We also have good news, well, maybe good news for XAI. They're getting value much higher. They're also working with Saudi Arabia, I believe it is it. I'm going off my back of my mind here. I believe that's it for a 500 megawatt data center for them potentially, or they're going to do it in Saudi Arabia. I'm not sure. We'll take a look at it. Miners are pumping after hours as well. Bitcoin bounced off that low of 88,000. I think it was 800, something like that. So that's good news there. And not much news as far as miners are concerned here. So let's get into all that we have to cover. We'll get into Q&A at the end of that. All right, so it's good to be back. Not financial advice as always, right? For entertainment only. Do your own research, full disclosure below that. Hit the like button. I did not buy anything the last, what is it now, 3 days? I've been holding out, hoping that we go down lower on some of these guys here. We did go down a little bit lower on them today, but I thought we were going to go down even more. But now with Bitcoin pumping up and the AI stocks pumping up, I don't know if I'm going to buy in. Maybe. I'll maybe buy in tomorrow if we go down a little bit. All right, where do I want to go? I want to go here. I forgot what I had to do here. Take a day off to fix things, and I'm getting myself all messed up here. Okay, so here's what we got. Bitcoin. All right, Bitcoin today went down to, well, it was down 1.56%. It was down much worse. It was like 3% something, almost 4% at one point here, but it did bounce back here during the late afternoon hours, and we were down to a low of 88,483. That gets us for sure like within 30% from the top here. If we look at it right now on the chart, trying to get this as close as I can on it. Let's see if we can do that. Okay, let's go here down to the bottom here. It was 29.97%. I mean, close enough, right? Could we go down a little bit more? Maybe. I mean, the nice bounce that we had today was great. We had a great bounce yesterday as well where we turned green instead of being in the red here. So maybe, just maybe this is going to be the end of it here. RSI obviously bouncing around the 30 RSI here on the daily, which is good. We're obviously on the weekly, we're below the 50 SMA, which is not great. We closed below that, but hopefully we bounce this week off of that and actually continue into maybe some strength here. There have been obviously a lot of stories about countries buying Bitcoin, companies buying Bitcoin as well. All of that stuff is still happening here. That has not ceased. It is continuing to increase here. So maybe this is going to be the end of it. Okay. Could we go down a little bit more? Possibility, right? So if we do go down a little bit more, I'm thinking maybe 85,000 would be the next resistance or the next support for us where we bounce off of that. Time will tell if that's going to be the case here. Okay. Miners, markets were actually in the green today, right? Dow Jones and NASDAQ, S&P were in the green. Russell was actually down a little bit, 0.2% here. Miners were all in the red here. They were partially in the green today in the morning hours, and they fell down quite hard towards the end of the day here, unfortunately. So Bitfarms was down 5.45% on the day. It's still kind of bouncing out the 100 simple day moving average there. BitDeer was down 5.04%. That one is, well, way below all the SMAs here right now, as it is at 1017. Kango was down 12.34%. This thing just continues to fall relatively hard here. I mean, it's last time it was back at this price range was back in November of last year. To be, yeah, wow. So that thing has definitely taken a beating there. CIFR was up today 0.27%. One of the few that were in the green here, but it was up higher at one point. Cleanspark was down 5.46%. This one's below all the SMAs as well, which isn't great. None of those held support here, looks like, which is unfortunate there. We'll see where it goes going forward. CORZ was down 0.26%. Hive was down 11.49% after having a really good earnings report and, growth in Canada for their AI. Data centers as well, but that one was down 11.49%. Hut 8 was down 2.92%. IREN was down 6.18%. It was actually in the green here at one point during the day, and then it fell back down. Mara was down 6.57%. Riot was down 4.23%. Wolf was up 1.92%. This thing has had a nice little rally here in the last 3 days. It's like been the only one that's been in the green here the last 3 days compared to the others out there. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. Maybe there's something brewing there for them. Are they getting another deal or something like that? I mean, that's a possibility. You just never know, right? So that's looking good for them. The Bitcoin holding companies here, MicroStrategy got beat down today, 9.82%. This thing is down a lot here from its high, recent high at least, where it got to 454 roughly, and it's down to 180. 180 is the low on it, so it's down 60%. This thing has definitely gotten, kicked in the nuts many, many times here. Galaxy was up today at 1.31%. Block was up 7.56%. Coin was down 1.72%. Metaplanet was up 0.8%. Exodus was down 7.48%. And Nexon was up to 0.84% today. Semler was down 8.28%. Phoenix was down just a little bit, 0.03%. Game was down 0.39%. The small miners here all got beaten down pretty hard. Mawson, for some reason, was down 40% today. This thing took a nosedive here, really, really hard here. You can see DigiPower was also down 3.28% there. Bitcoin miner ETFs here were down for the most part after being up in the morning hours, but they were down. BitQ was down 2.58%, BKCH was down 3.97%, DAP was down 2.94%, WGMI was down 3.42%. Ethereum holding companies, BMNR was down 9.6% there. That's hovering right at the 200 SMA right now. BitDigital is down another 9.24%. This thing obviously is way below the 200, 100, and the 50 SMA. Then we had BTCS being down 7%. That one's down below all the SMAs as well. Game was actually up to date. Let's get a nice little 3-day bounce here, looks like. It was up 0.89%. SBET was down 6.45%. And then the other things that we take a look at here, we got American Bitcoin was down 6.71%. This thing continues to bounce off the 200 SMA. Maybe that's going to be the support for it here unless it falls below it and actually closes below it. We'll see. Wi-Fi was up 3.26%. Open was down 11% there. Oracle was up 2.29%. Nebius was up 5%. Soluna was down 6.19%. Backed was down 0.82%. Fermi was down 7.9%. And then looking at some of the other companies here, we got Meta was down. Google was up. Amazon was up a little bit. Microsoft was down. And Nvidia was up 2.85% here today. We'll talk about them here a little bit, right? They bounced off the 100 SMA, and they're going up higher here. Great results from them. A lot of information as well as far as AI bubble concerns. The depreciation on older machines, on older GPUs, basically. They're still using a lot of their older machines at 100% utilization as well. So I think it's debunked all that BS that was out there talking about the AI bubble, right? Yeah, we'll get into it here in a second. As far as the miners here in the after hours right now, we'll take a look at BitDeer here. BitDeer is up 4.92%. A lot of these guys were up higher. They've come back down a little bit here. Bitfarms is up, let's see here, 8.84%. Kango is, looks like it's flat or nothing going on there. CIFR is up 13.82%. That one's doing really well here after hours. Cleanspark is up let's see where it ends up at, 7.05%. CORZ Scientific is up 9.16%. Hive is up Wow, 10% for Hive. Nicely done there. Nice bounce back from where it was today. Obviously, it's still down, well, it was down 11.49%, but getting some of that stuff back there. HUT 8 is up 7.09%. IREN here. May just refresh this one because I know this one always has a lot of trading going on. This one is up 9.64%. Mara right now in after hours is up. Let's see, where does it end up at? May refresh it because it's going to take a little bit. All right, it's up 4.41% here. And then Riot here is up 5.02%. And TeraWolf right now is up 9.4%. So the miners are doing pretty good here after hours right now as it is. Will this continue into tomorrow? No, that's not always the case, right? We've seen these guys go pretty nicely up in the after hours, pre-hours, whatever you want to call it. And then the day comes in, they're doing pretty good the first hour to 2 hours. And then during the day, they, go south on us, unfortunately. We'll see if tomorrow's going to be a different case for us where we actually do continue this rally going up because of what Nvidia basically reported. All right. Okay. So there's that going over here. Excuse me. Bitcoin right now is down. Let's see if we can update this right now as it is. It's down 18.95% for the quarter Q4. In a bull run year, 2025, we should be in the green here. Right, 2021, we were in the green a little bit, but we were still in the green. 2017, we were up huge, 215% in that quarter. In 2013, we were up 479% here. So it's not acting like the way we would think. So maybe we do get a reversal here happening towards the end of the month here and into December. Time will tell on that. But for the month of November, we are down 15.85% on Bitcoin here. And we're still probably in the red here on Bitcoin for the from the beginning of the year to now as it is. So there was no bull run. Well, we had a little bit of a bull run. We got to 126,000 roughly, and then we've basically given it all away here. So there's that. As far as the Bitcoin ETF miner or Bitcoin ETFs inflows, outflows, what we see here today is we got nothing happening here right now. Nothing being reported at least. We'll see where that comes in at. But we've had 5 days of solid selling outflows happening at this point, which is not great. Next, I want to take a look at with you guys is the Fed Watch tool here. As far as what we got going on for December, it's getting lower. So the consensus, at least right now, is that we may not get a rate cut happening in December, which is not great. We're also hearing that October CPI numbers will not be reported or released by the government. They are going to release, the September numbers possibly. So that's, what weighed on the markets today, more so than anything else on that report. Jobs came in a little higher than they were expecting as well from the consensus. So that's having an impact on the markets today and Bitcoin as well. And hopefully once we get some better data and things like that. But that all points to where we should get probably rate cuts, right? If the Fed is trying to manage between employment and inflation, right? Depending where inflation comes in at and employment's still continuing to rise or unemployment's continuing to rise, that's not a good sign. So they may lower rates anyways, right? So we'll see. And I think the FOMC meeting is it today or tomorrow? I can't remember. One of those, either today or tomorrow, the FOMC meeting is happening. Okay, so there's that. As far as AI here, we got one article from somebody here, right? This is from a LinkedIn article from Patrick Collins here. I thought this was kind of interesting as well, and I kind of agree with him on this. But basically, he's talking about the hidden AI gold rush, how to profit from edge data centers. Edge data centers, what he's talking about there is data centers that are within, I would say probably 50 miles of a location or something like that, of a big metropolitan area possibly. And instead of being in a centralized region like Texas, Pennsylvania or something like that, there might be still a very, very strong use case for smaller data centers that are closer to the edge to where those devices might be used, right? So robots, taxis, autonomous taxis, what else do we have here? Drones, robotic doctors, potentially, things like that he talks about in here. But we're not going to go over the whole thing because it's pretty lengthy here. You guys can find it. It was posted by Matthew Schultz from Cleanspark. He posted this on his timeline. You guys will be able to find it there if you want to take a look at this. He posted a link to it. But basically what he's saying here is everyone's fighting over gigawatt data centers. The real AI infrastructure play is sitting empty in our cities, right? The old warehouse with 5 megawatts of power, it's worth 10x what it was 3 years ago, and nobody's paying attention yet. the hidden golden AI rush, right? So while Meta builds out 229 billion facilities for training models, and actual AI revolution needs something different. Distributed compute for real-world applications, right? He talks about here self-driving cars. Drones need sub 10 millisecond response times. Manufacturing robots require local processing to avoid catastrophic delays, right? So all of these things could be done locally with much smaller data centers. The big data centers that we're talking about here, right? 500 megawatts campuses, 1 gigawatt campuses. Those are all used for training, mostly. Well, I wouldn't say mostly, but typically they're used for training and things like that. You need a lot of compute, a lot of power, a lot of compute to train those models on that data that you do have there, right? But these smaller things that are going to be more locally run could possibly use the 1 to 10 megawatt facilities within 50 miles of where they operate, right? So that is also going to be a use case here happening. And he talks about here some of these companies that are already doing it. He's also talking about the economics here, right? Acquisition, if you buy a site, 5 to 15 million. Conversion, you're paying another 10 to 20 million on that. Value post-conversion, 50 to 80 million. Timeline, 9 to 12 months versus 3 to 4 years, because you can build those out a lot faster. And then who's already moving there? It looks like Vapor.io, Edge Connects, DataBank, and then Locus Robotics as well, right? Not to mention, obviously, driving cars, use case driving cars, autonomous vehicles, drone delivery, smart manufacturing, healthcare, what makes the sites valuable, all this stuff here. I agree with him. I think there's also going to be a use case for those things, which could be pretty good for Cleanspark and others that have smaller sites spread out throughout the country, right? They can possibly monetize those as well. So that was kind of interesting there as well. On that, we cover a lot of the stories that happen here where we're talking about 200 megawatts, 300 megawatts, 500 megawatts. But these smaller sites still can be very, very profitable, if not maybe even more profitable, depending on the location that you have, because you're dealing with smaller tenants potentially, or smaller megawatts, but there's also going to be obviously more involved in that as well, as far as staff and things like that. So you might be able to get maybe a little bit more out of those sites. Maybe, we don't know. We'll see as this plays out over the next year, 2 years, 3 years in time. All right, next here is obviously Nvidia. Q3 2026, Blackwell sales are off the charts and cloud GPUs are sold out. This is from Jensen Hung there. Revenue up 62%, data centers up 66%, gaming up 30%, professional visuals, I think that's what it is, 56%, automotive 32%, EBITDA up 65%, margin up 63%, EPS up 67% as well. They absolutely crushed it there, and they talked about their guidance for their next quarter. They're talking about being in the 60 billion range for revenue. So they don't see it stopping anytime soon here. And you can see this build out, how they've grown here tremendously over the last couple years. It has been an outstanding growth for them. Right? So over the last 4 years, Nvidia has grown its data center segment 18x, or 1,666%, going from 2.9 billion in Q3 2022, accounting for 41% of total revenue, to 51.2 billion today, and they are still building out even more as time progresses here. So that's great. Looking here. Let's see here. Full Nvidia CEO Jensen Hung comment on the AI bubble from the earnings call. There's been a lot of talk about AI bubble. From our vantage point, we see something very different. Yeah, I see the same thing that they're probably seeing, right? This is completely different. He goes into it here in the conversation as well about all this, right? About the transition from CPUs to general purpose computing to GPUs, right? And then all of this stuff is accelerating the growth that we're seeing here. We're seeing more and more deals being done going forward as well. So AI bubble, there is no AI bubble, right? All of these companies are making a lot of money on AI right now as it is. They're going to continue to do that. Other companies that are getting into it will monetize relatively quickly as well, especially if they become more specialized in their fields, right? So attorneys, doctors, potentially teachers as well, right? All of those segments and others along with that will become more specialized in the AI space. And they're going to be targeting different demographics, different use cases, things like that. All of those things are going to need AI to function, to build out, for customers to use as well. That is going to be accelerating as well. So that's happening there. AI bubble, there's no such thing. And then this is from Daniel Newman here. Sorry to the Bury Bears. Older hardware, better software equals longer use lifespans for GPUs. This is from the quarterly results from Nvidia there. They state here, the A100 GPUs we shipped 6 years ago are still running at full utilization today, powered by vastly improved software stack. Right, we talked about this, excuse me, also with Google reporting that their own TPUs, tensor processing units, which are kind of like the GPUs, but they're more kind of like ASICs a little bit, right? They're not ASICs, but they're not full GPUs. They're kind of in between there a little bit. But those things that they've developed and are still running it, 7, 8 years ago, are still running 100% utilization there. So that completely debunks Michael Burry's case about having these longer depreciation time frames where, he's thinking it should be only 3 years or whatever it is. And these companies are reporting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever it might be on these. He was saying that they were cooking their books. None of these big companies are going to be cooking their books. They have too much at stake to have, cook the books on something like this. Why would you do that? They're making money nonetheless here, so it doesn't make any sense here. So that is completely debunked there. So that's good news there. And then here we got on Elon Musk XAI here. So the Wall Street Journal says Elon Musk XAI is advanced talks to raise $15 billion in new equity at a $230 billion valuation, up from $113 billion after the X deal in March. That would come on top of June's $5 billion equity plus $5 billion debt round, including $2 billion from SpaceX, to fund its Colossus Memphis data center and grow it out from there. Right? Money's still going to be flowing into to AI. There's just, right, Elon Musk's XAI is in a battle with Gemini, right? Gemini came out with, that's Google's Gemini, came out with Gemini 3, which had really great benchmarks. And then XAI's came out with, was it 4.1? I can't remember now. I'm drawing, whatever it is. Their latest version of it came out, and now they're saying that they're better than Gemini. So all of these guys are in a battle to outdo each other for the intelligence that their systems provide. And that's going to continue to go forward until, I think, one, if not many of them, are going to reach super intelligence eventually here within the next, how many years? I don't know. Right? It's going to be within the next couple of years, I would imagine here, maybe within the next 3 to 5 years, if not sooner. So that's all happening there. They're all throwing money into the space. They're all throwing money into data centers, into GPUs, into power. All of that stuff is happening here. So we are still in the very early stages of this happening right now as it is. Next year, Tesla, Elon Musk is making it clear that the only path to the kind of energy AI will need is space. Earth cannot produce 1 million times more power, so the long-term AI build-out eventually moves off-planet. We saw Google talk about this, right? Sundar Pichai, where they're talking about having data centers in space. We also saw that from, I think it was Amazon as well, stated that as well. XAI is probably going to be doing the same thing. The wonderful thing with Elon Musk is he has his rockets. So cost for him would probably be zero if he wanted it to send it up on the Starship rockets and build out a data center out there. Others would have to pay, obviously. But for him, it's pretty much at cost, I would think. But I probably couldn't do that because then it would be anti-competitive and he could probably get slapped with a fine there. So he probably won't do that, but he could if he wanted to. So that's going to be interesting as well to see how that plays out going forward. If that's going to be the case here, the only way we can maybe get around that is building out more nuclear, more solar, more wind, everything else. The United States needs to build out as much as it can, as fast as it can, streamline the process, get rid of the bureaucracies there, and get it done, as long as it's done in a safe manner, right? That's a big thing. We need it done in a safe manner. If they can do that, we should be good there. All right, next here, we got, let me see here, close that off as well. IREN CEO Dan Roberts says that AI demand is growing so fast that the company can't meet the demand fast enough. The key advantage for us is we've got the data centers, we've got the power and land. We're actively installing these GPUs every day to meet the demand. That is what I want to hear. I want to hear that there's so much demand that you can't keep up with it. And as long as this is the case going forward here, we have a nice, probably 6, 12, 18, 24 months to go before this place or this sector gets saturated enough to a point where maybe we don't need as many data centers and things like that. But I think it's going to be even longer than that, potentially even after that. As things progress, as these big guys building out these huge data centers for AI training, that gets distilled, right? It can get distilled to make it even smarter for certain fields. Other companies are going to be doing smaller data centers for their own AI workloads to then sell to the public, which then obviously is going to grow to be a little bit larger. But it's as much as I hate to say it, but it's kind of like trickle down economics in the AI space. As the bigger guys come out, trickles down to the smaller players as well going forward here. So that is great to hear. And I've been extremely happy with the way IREN has performed this year, along with others in the space. Right, Bitcoin hasn't done that great for us. Bitcoin's down for the year, but still the miners are up 500%, 400%, 300%, 200%, 100%. They are still kicking and screaming to the top here, it looks like. So loving that. I hope you guys are too. I know it hasn't been easy this past couple of weeks with everything falling down because of the AIBS as far as bubble is concerned, but hopefully that gets behind us here and we move forward. Obviously, Nvidia reporting their quarterly results today was probably a good kick in the butt here a little bit on the bulls there, or on the bears actually. All right, that's it. That's all I got for you. Like I said, none of the other miners reported any kind of news updates or anything like that, and I didn't get a chance to do any of my metrics on the miners because I've been busy reinstalling my operating software, getting everything back on, configuring everything, and making sure it all works. So at least we're back to where we don't have any freezes, we don't have any issues with sound. I'm a happy camper. We can continue on here. So let's get into Q&A here, so what you guys have to say on all this stuff. I hope you guys are as bullish as I am, or close to that, but I think we're still looking pretty good here, given that Bitcoin actually does well going forward here a little bit. All right, let's get into Q&A. See what you guys have to say. As always, if you could preface the question mark with if you could preface the question with a question mark or a Q, I would appreciate it. Okay, let's see if this works for us. The Q&A. This is the one part that I did not try, but hopefully this works for us, and we'll go through it here right now as it is. Okay, we got 147 viewing and 25 thumbs up. So that's, what is that? That's a low percentage there. That's like 15%. Come on, people, help me out. Hit some more thumbs up. I would appreciate it. Okay. Sauer says, I am prepared to box anyone here that thinks the AI is in a bubble. Okay, let's see, overhead has been resized. Okay, okay, that's fine. All right, that works. You guys are seeing this, hopefully. Yep, you guys are seeing this, so this is good. All right, so that works. Kaz is asking, IREN $100 when? Do crop and really drag? Okay, I don't care about that. Okay, the program's giving me like little hints on things that I'm doing. It's like, okay, I don't need to know that. IREN eventually, right? I don't know if it's going to be the next 3 months, 6 months, whatever it's going to be, whether it could be even a year, right? Could even take a year for that to happen. But if they announce something good as far as another deal, or they're, installing more GPUs, or they're going to be generating more revenue, things like that is going to pump the stock up anyways. Guys also asking Bitfarms, $10 for when for Bitfarms? The same thing for them. If they announce any good news as far as getting a tenant for their site in Washington, or customers for their GPU cloud potentially, or something like that, all of those things will pump the stocks at that point as well. All right. Amir here, because one day, LOL, depends on the execution of future growth contracts, etc. Exactly, I agree with you there. All right, Mark says, I'm counting on Cleanspark. I want them to deliver, so do I. Right, I think they're going in the right path. They're going in the right direction as well. They took their sweet time, and I think that was maybe because of the previous CEO there. The board elected to, I don't know if it was because he was removed, but whatever it was. And then right after that, they started transitioning into HPCI as well. I think that was the right decision, and they've obviously done a number of things here that are positioning well in that as well. Okay. All right, D-Roy says there's no way around it. Power is the powerhouse play. Power, the sites, right? And if you have access to power right away, or at least within the next year or 2 years, that's going to be a huge, huge thing there. See. All right. Rob says, yeah, blah. Michael Burry, you just got buried. HP says, Jensen saved us. Yeah, that definitely helped out for sure. All right. Let's see if there's any questions here. Okay. All right. John says, miners will have several buying opportunities with the Fed on pause for December. Volatility in spades. Dixie too high at 100. Okay. Mark, best miner to buy now with biggest potential. I still think Bitfarms, Cleanspark, Hive even as well. Those guys obviously took a big, some of them took a big dip today. And then after that, look at CIFR, IREN, Wolf, and potentially after that, you would start looking at like BitDeer. But BitDeer's been beaten down here dramatically as well. So that's another one to take a look at there. D-Roy says, I have IREN, CIFR, Bitfarms, Wolf, Bitcoin, Sol, Ethereum, and that other thingamajig. All I want is a double. If we could get a double from here, I would love that as well. I own a lot of the same stuff that you do already, except for maybe Wolf here. But I also own Cleanspark and Bitfarms, which you don't have. I don't have any Solana. I do have Ethereum. But yeah, if these things double from here, that would be sweet. I'm down 33% from my all-time high. So that still would be great if we could do that. Rob's got a question here. Who does the thumbnail art for your daily YouTube, i.e. AI Bubble Debunked? I responded back to you on that one. That was, I'm using, sometimes I use Google Gemini for that. Sometimes I use Grok XI, Grok, which is XAI. Let's see. Amir says, Mark, best miner HPC AI are the ones that are currently undervalued. Bitfarms, Hive, Cleanspark, Wolf, CIFR, and IREN in that particular order, in my opinion. Okay, we have the same opinion there. That's great. All right, trying to catch up here. All right, Emily's got a question. Evening Step. Do you think there will be a significant recovery before end of year? Interest rates, metrics are not encouraging. I think that's priced in already. Yeah, I mean, as long as Bitcoin doesn't go to a bear market, I think we'll bounce. And then if we have these guys, any of these guys reporting any kind of deals, whether it's CIFR, IREN, Wolf, Riot, Cleanspark, whatever it might be, right, that will possibly help out as well. What else we got here? Let's see, D-Roy says he wants a double, double, and that is not a burger from In-N-Out. Yeah, I'd like to have a double as well. Alexander says, I spent all my rent money buying BitDeer today. Yeah, I mean, BitDeer's been beaten down for a lot. Sour says, I'm deep in the stocks. We're all deep in these stocks here. Kaz says, I feel like the miners are decoupling from BTC price. They have. I mean, if you look at where they are right now compared to where they were beginning of the year, they're obviously up better than that, better than what Bitcoin is. So it looks like they have decoupled from that, and as they get more contracts for whether it's co-location, cloud business, whatever it might be, they're going to decouple even more at that point because that's just more steady revenue at that point. Rob is asking, green or red tomorrow? I'm hoping it's going to be a green day for us. Today was a pretty rough day. All right, what else we got going down here? Oh. All right, that's good. All right, Sour says, Seb, you are perfect and beautiful. That's what I was asking, if the live stream is good and sound was great. Thank you for that. Rod's question, when you think Mara, Riot, and Cleanspark will reach to last month's prices? So where they were basically 3-4 weeks ago. It might be a sloppy slide up, meaning that we're going to go up, we're going to come down, we're going to go up, we're going to go down. I would think within the next 3 months to maybe 6 months, we should be back up there, if not faster. But I would just give it the amount, about that much time here with all these things here, right? Things could go faster, but if it takes us 3 to 6 months, not a big deal. All right, minus 2025S, price Bitfarms mid-2026. They're going to be halfway building out their Washington site at that point, right? If we get a deal from somebody for that site, I think that would pump the stock up even more. I think they should be somewhere between $6 and $10, to be honest with you. Okay, Sadie, thank you so much for the likes there. Raz, question: Did the AI bubble fear is finished to start mining stocks go up? I think the fear should be gone by now, if it isn't already, because of what Nvidia has been saying, Jensen Hunger, and everything else. It didn't make any sense to begin with. All right. Question: what do you think of H-bar? H-bar, I still have some H-bar, I believe. Sitting someplace. I don't know. I know that it was backed by a lot of companies. Google was one of them, I believe. You had Verizon in there, I think, as well. So it had large backing by pretty sizable corporate entities in there. I haven't looked to see where it's at right now. I probably should, since I still own a little bit of that. But I'm just waiting for that thing to come back up to where I got in, and I'm going to sell out at that point. Unless I do a little research on it and see what the heck's going on with it. But yeah, not much thoughts on that one right now. Okay. All right. Sour, you probably should not say this. I may need to rob a bank so I can buy more. Yeah, do not say that. If anything, say you're going to sell your right kidney or your left kidney. Ross, obviously don't do that either, right? Don't sell any of your body parts. Raz, question. I didn't sell my Riot, Cleanspark and Mara last month. What you think it will reach back to that? When do I think it will reach? Like I said, I think between 3 to 6 months. I'll give it that much time frame right now. Right now is a gift, right? Anytime we go down on these guys, nothing else has fundamentally changed in the space other than we had the narrative of a AI bubble, right? Beginning of this year, we had the DeepSeek fears, right? That drove AI, everything else down as well with it. Now we have an AI bubble, right? Which is not the case. So in time, they will rebound back. How fast? That I don't know, but they will rebound back. But right now, it's a gift. Right now, if you can buy at these prices, if you haven't been able to get into them before because they were a little high, now is a good time to get it, right? We need to change our mentality when it comes to buying these stocks here. Whenever they go on sale, if there's nothing fundamentally different from the company itself, it's because driven by narrative or the economy or whatever that's going on there. That's a gift, right? Whenever you see a sale at a store that's 30, 40% off, you're more likely to buy that than you are go, oh, they could still go down more, right? Which could happen with the stocks here, but you dollar cost average and then you're buying at that point. But that's just the way I would do it, right? Obviously, you got to do what's right for you. Okay, talked about that. All right. Question: did you think Riot will contract with the big HPC companies, or will it work it by itself, which is already very late? That's a good question there. Nobody knows that answer right now. They could possibly get a deal with somebody. I mean, they have the sites right now as it is. They got the power, and it could be pretty quick to get energized or get built out. The question is, will they get one, right? We don't know, right? We've only seen right now CIFR, IREN, Wolf, Allied get deals, Galaxy get deals as well. I'm trying to think if there's somebody else that I'm missing here that probably got deals. Nvidia, obviously, all those guys here. So we'll see. We'll see if they can get a deal or if they're going to go with their own way. All right, Rob says, you can bet your bottom dollar that the short position will be closing tomorrow. If we all buy, we can create a short squeeze, go gamma squeeze too. All right, yeah. I mean, based on the news that we had today from Nvidia, it could be possible. Roz, question, what do you think HPCI hype will come back? I think it's coming back today and later on. The news that came out from Nvidia was great. Okay, sorry. Throat was getting dry here. Rob is asking, so Seb, how would we avoid a crash tomorrow after the pump, so to speak? Well, the pump in the after hours, I don't know how we would avoid it. Sentiment obviously has to change in maybe retail and invest in, well, institutions are buying in regardless. We've seen that happen here. So it's mostly retail that's panicking. They see stories, Michael Burry, right, which was reported wrong, that he had $900 million in short position on Nvidia and others as well. That was BS. That was only like 9 million. And then the processing behind it was just wrong as well, right? The depreciation calculations were off based on his own assumptions, which were not based in reality of what these guys are actually doing and why they're doing it. So there's the reasons for it. Okay. Let's see. AIT says NVIDIA earnings knocked it out of the park. Bitfarms is positioned well for their Vera Rubin GPU. Yes, they are. That's kind of what they're targeting to do, right, next year. All right. Christopher, Bitfarms focus on the Vera Rubin GPUs only. Yes, we got some Bitfarms fans in here, which is nice. AIT, not sure only focus, but Washington site is behind, built out, and ready for end of 2026, which the Rubin's chips will be the fastest and the best chips available. Yep. Curtis, thank you for that, for the thumbs up there. Bitfarms will be the first to position that. Wow, we got quite a few people here that are bullish on Bitfarms, which is good. Let's see. Bitfarms is no longer in the BTC mining space. HPCI is huge, only in the first inning right now. Future looks bright. Yeah, I mean, they're still mining, right? So don't forget that. They're still mining. Everybody else here is still mining Bitcoin. And they're using that revenue to now fund their growth into HPC AI as well. All right. Water industry says volume is quite low. Oh, now it just got better. Okay. Still, my computer volume is maxed out. I have the volume. I mean, the volume looks good to me. I have it at 95% on my meter right now, so it should be good. Let's some people complain that it's too loud. I can never win with volume, unfortunately. So I apologize for that if your volume is maxed out. Gary, let's see, question. Burry is clearly wrong about those like IREN, CIFR, and Wolf who have contracts. Yeah, I agree with you there. Let's see here. JCD says 138 watching and not 100 likes yet. Let's see where we're at. We're getting there. We're at 48. We got 176 watching, and we're a quarter there. Let's see, Rob. DeepSeek and Michael Burry need to sit on it. Okay, yeah, I would agree with you there as well. Gary, others like CoreWeave with huge debt has always been a huge risk. Miners without any announcement also ran a lot with no news, which could be a bubble. It doesn't mean they can't move, but the news not on hype. They were being lifted up based on everybody else, right? Obviously, IREN ran up hugely, right? Before even having any kind of announcement of Microsoft deal or anything like that. But they have sites available. They have megawatts. Those are the things that were, driving that one up as more. And potential of a deal there as well. JCD, thank you for your work every night here, Seb. You're very welcome. Thanks for coming in. I greatly appreciate you guys as well, taking the time to come in here, chat with me. JPB says, watching Cleanspark go from 23 back down to 10 has caught me off guard. If you've been in the miners for any period of time, like over 2 years, something like that, they will do that sometimes. You got to be ready for that. You got to have some cash on the sidelines, possibly buy back in at lower prices, dollar cost average in. That did not surprise me here. I talked about it, right? I think that we were getting a little overextended on a lot of these guys here. I thought we maybe would have a little bit of a pullback, 10, 15, 20%. I didn't expect the 30, 35, or 40% correction or even 50% correction on some of these guys here. I thought they were maybe, but you can never tell, right? It is what it is. I'm still holding on. I didn't sell anything. Okay, Rob says, I'm listening to a Coldplay song, Fix You, and it's so sweet. Sweet. Nice. Let's see. Freddie, I'm not sure. Do you think? I'm not sure what you're talking about there. DeFi getting a feeling that Nvidia will drop tomorrow. Fed cut is not happening and no economy data. Market does not like uncertainty. Hope I'm wrong tomorrow. I hope you're wrong too, but that could be a possibility. Right? We always have to take that into consideration there. JPB said, what are you adding to your positions in the miners? Cleanspark. Cleanspark was one of the ones I was looking at this week. It did drop today, but I didn't pull the trigger on it. I was thinking we might drop down a little bit more tomorrow, but then with the news that came out for Nvidia, it's pumping all these things up right now. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get back into it. And then the other issue that I have here, so I'm going to let you guys know now. I may sell a little bit here. I don't want to, but I'm going to have to sell a little bit for the basement remodel or the basement finishing part of it. I'm going to have the HVAC guy coming out in the next week and a half, and that's costing me about $6,000 that I need to shell out. So I do not have that kind of cash right now. Well, I might be able to. I don't know. But if I sell, it's going to be a small amount. I might have to sell $10,000 worth of the stocks that I own right now. I don't want to, but I may have to, just to get this whole process continuing to roll here. I don't want to be sitting on this for a year with it the way it is. So that's the only reason I would sell. It's not because I think we're getting hot or anything like that. I'm letting you guys know why I would have to sell it. Okay. All right. Andrea, thumbs up. Thank you again. DFly, do you think Cleanspark around $10 is a major discount, maybe a deal this year? Yeah, I think it's a major discount. It's a great deal right now as it is. They got, 30 plus sites across 5 different states. They bought a site in Texas right now. They are, they hired somebody that's got great experience in data center build-outs. They're working with a partner there as well. I think they're doing all the right things here. I think the stock's going to go up much higher from where it's at right now. All right, Freddie, do you think miners will double up from and get back to where they were at their highs from a month and a half ago? How long will it take for them to get back to those highs? It could be couple weeks, it could be a couple months, it could be half a year, right? We don't know, but I think eventually they will get back up to those levels here, especially as this fear of AI bubble goes away. And then the market obviously does pretty good. We get some data that's going to be supporting some rate cuts potentially as well. All those things have to play into it as well. DeFi, do you think we bottom, hoping trading in the AM, we need institutional needs to buy and not profit take? Time will tell. It looks like we are bottoming out on Bitcoin here at least. The AI Bitcoin miners, things like that are in HBCI, I think those held up pretty well considering. all things. And yeah, I think we're possibly bottoming out here. We'll see. Okay. Maddie, hi Seb. If you don't mind telling us, what's the allocation percentage in your stock portfolio? As far as each one is concerned, how much of a basically, let me see here. Let me pull this up. I do have that data. I can tell you guys what the percentage is overall on these guys. As of today, at least, we're at the close here. Let me see here. If it loads. Oh, come on. All right, we'll get back to that one while this thing is loading here. Okay, Cliff asks, what trading view indicators do you use? Just curious, thanks. I use like the RSI. I look at the simple day moving averages as well. I also have some other indicators that I purchased that I don't know how accurate those are yet going forward as far as telling you when we're kind of getting to the top to the bottom. So I'm not going to mention those because I don't know if those are accurate there. But that's basically all I use here on it. I just look at that. But I don't day trade anyways, right? So I'm just kind of, I look at the companies themselves, the management there behind them, the path going forward for them to growth. And those are the companies I want to get into. What happens day to day, week to week, month to month doesn't really bother me so much. As long as I can buy more in, if that's the case, as long as nothing changes with the company, the management, things like that. Some of these guys are going to be a little bit longer term play here, potentially. All right. So here we go. Right now, Bitfarms this is just for my stock portfolio. It does not include my profit sharing plan or my crypto portfolio as well, but just for stocks itself. Bitfarms is 3.49% of my portfolio. CIFR is, that's CIFR? I think it's CIFR. Yeah, CIFR. CIFR is 8%. Cleanspark is 14.6%, and IREN is almost 46%. So there's the breakdown on that as it is right now. All right. So all right, covered that one. DeFi, let's see here. I bought 8,000 shares of Bitfarms, massively undervalued. Do you think we get a deal soon? I don't know if we're going to get a deal soon. Maybe. I should never say never, right? But I think we'll probably hear something closer to the completion date of the Washington site. Or, they could have renounced something for Panther Creek or Scrubgrass, one of those sites as well. We just don't know. That's why I keep saying I'd love to be a fly on the wall in those meetings. All right. AIT, I think there are a lot of bag holders for miners, so expect profit taking. Well, they shouldn't look at them as miners anymore, right? They should be looking at some of these guys as AI data center plays and things like that, which will be valued much higher in the long term than where they are right now. So hopefully they don't do that. But I understand some of the people here may not know everything that's going on with these guys, and that's where we're at. DeFi, what's your top buy right now? My top buy would be, like I said before, Cleanspark, Bitfarms, Hive potentially as well, CIFR, Wolf, BitDeer, IREN as well, right? Those would be the ones I'd be looking to get into. DeFi says, these last 3 weeks wiped all of my gains for the year, portfolio down 60%. Oh, wow. That's definitely, when did you buy into them, DeFi? If you got into them earlier this year, you should be still up on these guys. So sorry to hear that. I'm still up, 500% on IREN, 100% on Cleanspark, 150, 160% on CIFR, and Bitfarms, I'm still up like 80, 90% right now as it is. But I also bought much lower prices than probably you guys did. Right? I've been buying these guys since 2022 because I didn't know where they were going to bottom out. All right, Bevneet says, I finally bought IREN at 48. I think it's easy double from here. I would agree with you there as well. Yeah. And overall, I'm down 33% of my portfolio as it is, the whole thing. It includes stocks, crypto, and my retirement account as well. That took a big hit in the last 3-4 weeks. I'm down 33% on those. All right. QB Productions question, do gaps usually fill up, especially on Bitfarms? There's a gap not far from current price at 225. Eventually, gaps do get filled up. But then gaps on the way down also like to get filled up as well. So it can happen. Obviously, it happens both ways, especially if the stock goes up. All right. Rob says, Hong is pronounced Wong. Okay, Wong. Thank you for that. I keep hearing it, but I keep looking at the word on his last name there. So I do apologize for that. On that, it's Wong. Okay. Jensen Wong. Okay. I'll try to remember that. Hong, Wong. Okay. NG, why does Bitfarms buy the GPUs, buy the Nvidia GPUs? Aren't they energy provider for these HPC? Okay, wait a minute. Why does Bitfarms buy the GPUs Nvidia? Aren't they an energy provider for these HPC AI? Well, I mean, they have Scrubgrass and Panther Creek, which are generation facilities, right? They generate electricity from spent coal, right? So they're reclaiming the spent coal that's out there, cleaning up the environment as well. So that's a good thing. And they're generating electricity that way. But they're also trying to get interconnects with the PJM market there, which would give them a heck of a lot more energy that way as well. And why would they buy? If you buy GPUs, you get to keep all the revenue there at that point, right? On the sites and things like that. So it is more profitable that way. Okay. Steven asks, is Mawra getting into HPC? They are, but they've been kind of going around it from different ways and in different places. I'm not sure why. But yeah. Emir's got a question here. I think the sector will become more stable and less volatile long term, even BTC. Your take. Bitcoin, I do think, is already less volatile than it has been in the past. Last cycle, prior cycle to that as well, where Bitcoin was going on a parabolic rise, you saw Bitcoin go down 30% within a day or two at some points, and then go back up to new all-time highs within a couple of days. This time around, it's taken us 4 months, 5 months to go down 30%. And then it's taken us another 4 or 5 months to go back up to a new all-time high. So in that regard, it's already less volatile in that regard, right? BTC miners, that is still yet to be seen here. But as long as they continue to build out towards HPC AI business, I think that will stabilize them more because you're going to have more stable revenue happening for them compared to Bitcoin, which is very volatile. In the past, at least it was. And then you also have the deal with the network hash rate. So in time, I think they will become less volatile. All right. Rob, do you think Bitfarms is 12 to 24 months from a deal? Ben hinted at that. I would say within 12 months. I think they should get a deal within 12 months as they're building out their Washington site. And maybe they get approached for their, like I said, Panther Creek, Scrubgrass sites as well. It could happen even faster than we think. But I would say 12 months would be like the max that I would think that they would get a deal. Somewhere around there, right around 12 months. All right. See, I can't pronounce that, so I apologize here. Only assumptions. What if they don't meet this? Yeah, I mean, there's always what if, right? We're basing it on probably like the best case scenario for these guys here, that they are getting deals. They are going to be building out all those things here, but that could be based on what we're seeing here as far as the demand that is happening. So, but you're right? What if those assumptions are not met? Then they wouldn't do as well. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Sorry, Melanie. Cleanspark didn't just have a healthy pullback. It literally gave all its gainbacks. Look at the chart. Yeah. A lot of these guys had more than a healthy pullback for sure. Okay. Alex asks, thoughts on Hive CEO saying the stock should be $20. I think, let me see if I do have it up here. Hive, I have them between $8.80 and $13.20 right now as it is. As they generate more revenue here going forward, they could definitely go up in price here. And I have them at a discounted PE of 10 here. And the reason that is because they don't have any operations in the United States. So I discounted them for that. But if we have them going up to like a PE of 15 or something like that, then they could probably be around $20, which would be in line with what he's seeing as well. Right? Yeah, 1980, right? Somewhere around $20. That's if they get the love out of institutions and retail investors here, but I give them a little bit of a discount because, again, no operations in the United States. I don't know if that's going to be a detriment to them. I could be wrong on this, but this is kind of where I'm looking at things right now because of that. That's still really good. I mean, they're at $3.08. I mean, you go up to $13. That's what is it, a 4x from here? That's still really, really good. Okay, back here. Mr. X, question. I bought some Mawra today. Is it a buy now? I know you're not a big fan of Mawra. Yeah, I mean, I hope it does great for you. It's definitely come back down, right? What is it down? 50%, 50+% down from where it was just a couple of weeks ago. So in that regard, I would say it's probably not a bad time to buy in if you're going to buy into it. Now, can they surprise us with something? Sure. They can always surprise us with something. I hope they would just kind of focus on something instead of being spread out into too many things that they're trying to do with Bitcoin before, and then just focus more on the HPCI side of the business. What size can they transition over into HPCI potentially as well that they do own, right? And what would it take? But I think Fred Thiel there, the CEO, has to have a little bit more more communication with investors as far as what are they targeting, what are they looking to do. They've been awfully vague here in the last, I would say, probably year and a half as far as their growth in Bitcoin mining in general, their kind of operations a little bit as well. So I'd love to hear more details as far as what are they planning instead of, we're working on something. All right. Rob says, Alex, I didn't catch that about Hive CEO saying they should be 20 share. I like that valuation. Yeah, I might have been during the conference call. I might have missed it. I haven't listened to it though yet. Okay, JPB says, I've been adding to my Cleanspark position at 14 at 1075. Currently have 80. Well, holy cow. Well, that's a sizable position there. I have, what do I have? I got, is it 10,000 shares? Let me look back here. What do I got? I got Cleanspark 10,100 shares. So you got me 8x beat on that one. So when that thing runs, you're going to do very well there. Congrats on that one. All right, Gary, IREN has 84% of its 3 gigawatts available for the Rubin, plus the best data center builders limit will be how fast they can build. But they showed with miners what they can do, building from 5 to 50 exahash in a year. Yeah, they can definitely, they have a track record for it. So I'm not arguing there with you. That's why I own and love IREN there. Gary's got a question. What's the percentage of money did you invest in each? I'm guessing you put a lot more money in Cleanspark than IREN. Even though IREN has, no, actually, IREN, I put more money into IREN than I did for Cleanspark. Barely, just a little bit barely. For IREN, let me see, my cost base, I'm not going to give you guys the exact numbers here, but I'll give you guys what the difference is. So I actually put in approximately $1,200 more into IREN than I did into Cleanspark there. So that was a little bit more. Not much more, but it definitely has worked out way better being in IREN there at that point. So, but it's still a sizable amount. Okay. Your question, an earlier poster said a lot of miners were bag holders now taking profits. Question, how can a bag holder take profits? That's a good question. I mean, bag holders, I guess they were holding on to it. Depending when they got into it, I don't know. All right, Rob, guys, I have a hunch tomorrow will be a parabolic for a lot of the AI HPC miners. I would love to see that. They definitely need to bounce because they've been beating the heck up on them. What else we got here? Let's see. Freddie M says, I'm up, but what DeFly was saying is that Bitfarms and Cleanspark, for example, are down almost 60% each. So if you had 100,000 a month ago, you'd be all the way down to 40,000 painful. Yeah. Yeah, it has been definitely painful for sure. Like I said, I'm down 33%. I'll be honest with you guys. It's been basically, I'm down about $1 million in the last 3 weeks. The whole total portfolio, right? Stocks, crypto, and my retirement account as well. Not been great. But I still have that belief inside me at least, and things that I'm seeing here that these things will rebound, they will do better going forward, especially as they build out and things like that. So I'm not too worried about it. Could some of these guys fumble and not do well, or I don't think they're going to go out of bankrupt or go out of business anytime soon, but could they fumble? Yeah, but that's why you kind of try to be diversified as best you can in this space, right? Steve O asks, what about Caspa? I mean, I'm not in Caspa. I don't own any Caspa. I don't track it either, so I can't really tell you about that one. Tribuki says, Nvidia's report was great and seems to have debunked all the, bubble talk. Why are all the stocks moving up? Well, because the numbers and obviously the talk there about debunking the AI bubble as well. SK, question, your BitDeer price target for 2026. Well, I don't know where they're going to be in 2026. They obviously have a lot of growth happening for them in 2026 as well. Getting to HPC, obviously probably they're going to be growing their hash rate as well. They've had a couple issues here last week, right? The earnings didn't come out that great. They had a fire at 2 of their locations in Ohio. What else do we have there? They're delayed on the A4 chips, right? I think it's Sealminer 04 or A4 on those. But right now, even with everything that's going on with them, I have them between 25.18 and 37.77. They're at $10.17. So yeah, I think that they're still undervalued, right? But again, they are, I think, a Singapore company with As you guys have heard me say before, they've had some ties with China. I don't know if those ties are still there or not. I don't know if that's having an impact on the stock there as well. I don't know. Do not know. Okay. All right. Freddie asks, what does your spreadsheet say Bitfarms and Cleanspark should be worth? We can take a look at it really quick here. Bitfarms right now, I think should be, where's it? Right there. It should be somewhere between 463 and 695, right? If they get a deal or something like that, they should be definitely worth more there. So that's why I'm saying by the end of the year, next year, somewhere between $6 and $10 is where I'm thinking. Cleanspark right now, I have them between $22 and $33, right? Kind of in line with the analysts as well, between high of 30 and low of 14. So that's kind of where I would think they should be. Now, if they get a deal for, or if they get a deal, if they do their own NeoCloud business or something like that, they could definitely be valued more at that point, depending on what their annual run rate is going to be at that point. So they could go up higher from there. All right. Okay, catching up with all the questions here. Rob says, hey, I noticed the spammers are not in the room tonight. Did you get rid of them? No, I did not. I think they just took a hint. Maybe they just took a hint. But yeah, I did not. I blocked some spammers that were in the comments. I don't know if they were part of that. So if they commented in that, maybe they blocked here there as well. That might be the question here. JPB question. Originally, when I started buying Cleanspark, it was more short-term trade. Obviously, it's been more of a long-term hold. Okay, yep. SK Hive and BitDeer, will you buy? I would probably buy. Oh gosh. So here's the thing. Hive obviously no operations in the United States, right? That could be something that holds them back a little bit. BitDeer, like I talked about just a second ago, but they have a lot of growth here. Man, I would go with the growth. I think BitDeer has more growth than Hive. I would go with the growth, even though there's maybe some concerns with the management team there or something, whatever it might be. I would go with probably BitDeer if I had to go that route. I love the management team at Hive, though. So that's hard. But for growth, that's not an easy one. I would buy maybe both of them, I bet. Yeah, I don't know. Richard, makes no sense to me how IREN goes from 5 to 50 in 6 months. This is sus, but you guys do you. Well, how many megawatts do they have available to them? How many are being used up right now? What's the timeline for their megawatts to be online within the next 2 to 3 years? And then who else has that access, right? So that's why they've run up huge. They're also going at it differently. They're not going for co-location deals. They're going for their own NeoCloud business. So that gets valued differently as well. All right, JPB question. So do you think the miners are better to be in and out of them or holding long term? I'm not supposed to be holding long term, maybe another 2 to 3 years, but I do plan on exiting around 32. Well, that's kind of more of a long term, right? A lot of people have been obviously playing the market here with these miners, trading, right? When they go up, they sell, they come back down, they buy more. That's a great way to do it. If you can do it, if you can time it, that's a great way to do it. I suck at it that way. So I've just dollar cost average into these things, especially the ones that I have a high conviction in. And that's what I've done here, right? But everybody's got to do what they got to do, as always, not financial advice. No. Let's see. Seb is rich. On paper, right? It's all on paper right now. If I don't take any profits, that could all go to nothing. So is it a big gamble? Yeah, I would say it's an educated gamble, right? Based on the data that we have, on the information, things like that. That's what's helping me keep my positions that I'm in at right now. And knowing that I don't need that capital right now or that money to live day to day, and my family's well taken care of as it is right now. So that helps out. If I was in a much different financial situation, I would have been probably taking, as things were going up, I probably would have been selling out more and more. But I'm not in that situation, so I can look at it differently. I can plan it out a little bit differently maybe as well. So definitely do not do what I do, as I always say. Do your own research, do all that stuff. As always, you guys have to do that. What's right for you guys. I'm just letting you guys know what I'm doing here. Could be definitely very, very, very wrong. Okay? All right. Let's see. Rob asks, ASST thoughts. Mike Alfred pumping it. He's buying more into it. So I mean, obviously he loves the management team there. He says he thinks it's one of the best ones in the business there, or at least in that sector. So he's definitely got a conviction in there for them. All right. Cyrus says Mike Alvarez literally pumps everything. The dude isn't trustworthy. He doesn't pump everything. I mean, he pumps the things that he believes in, right? So AST backed, IREN, CIFR, the other companies he's been kind of, he's praised some, others as well, but some he's definitely bashed as well. So you got to admire that about the guy. He gives you his thoughts, his convictions as well. But it's not like he's pumping everything there, so I don't agree with you there on that one. So sorry. Maybe what about CIFR? What price targets is it's at 16, and I believe that is way too undervalued. The list is IREN, CIFR, and Nibius. Okay, Nibius, I don't have price targets for them. I do have CIFR and IREN. We can take a look at those really quick. As far as where I think they should be, let's see there. Okay, so CIFR right now, if we scroll up here, go over here. All right. They're at 1462, I think somewhere between 2465 and 3697 is kind of where I would think they would be, right? Analysts have them at $42 to a low of $9. So that's kind of in line with where I see them right now for them. IREN, we're using the numbers for them for the annual run rates here going into next year. I actually have them a lot higher. I have them at $142. Or no, sorry. Analysts have them at $140. Yeah, can't speak. I got to slow down. Analysts have them at $142. On the low side, it's $24, right? So that's the high end side. I have them between $135 and $203. That's kind of where I'm seeing that with the HPC annual run rate. Bitcoin annual run rate cut at half. So I cut the Bitcoin revenue cut in half that because we don't know how many machines are going to be unplugging for the HPC business, and we don't know where Bitcoin's going to be. So if Bitcoin still goes down half from where it's at right now, or maybe Bitcoin goes down 30% like where it's at right now, network hash rate increases, right, 30%, whatever it might be, over the next year, that's going to cut the revenues in half. So that's kind of why I'm cutting their Bitcoin mining revenue in half as it is from where they were in, I think it's September, October, one of those two months. Okay. And even at that point, I have them at $135 to $203. Now, that's given that they don't dilute, right? If they dilute shares, well, we can be looking at a different stock price at that point as well. All right. Okay. There's that portion of it. Talked about that one here. All right, Gary says, I cracked and sold most of my IREN in the last 2 weeks and now mostly in IRE with a 1050 average. Okay. Gary, I'm surprised you sold. I thought you were going to be one of the ones that was still with me there, holding on to that thing. It has, right? Because IREN hasn't done that bad overall compared to the other miners. JB, thanks for all the hard work you do, Seb. We all appreciated delivering all this information on these companies. You're very welcome. I greatly appreciate you guys as well for coming in here. So thank you for that. Victor, I think FOMC is soon. The Fed won't cut in December. Won't that make the market go down? I think the market's gone down because of that thought process already. So I think it might be already priced in currently, based on just what we're seeing with the what the heck is that called? Where is it at? It is the FedWatch tool, right? That's kind of pointing in that direction. Maybe that was part of it while we're down also. All right, NG. Are all the miners using the same GPUs to power their HPC AI business? Most, they're using Nvidia mostly. IREN also got into AMD recently, so they're using those. But they're also using like the H100s, H200, B200s, and then the newer generations are coming on in the line as well. But as far as what each one has directly, that I'm not sure. As far as Nibius or like CoreWeave, those GPUs models I don't have. Morton is asking, Gary, are you being serious about having sold? Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised by that too myself. JIR, what is your price target for Canon? Thanks. Canon, I don't track them, so I don't have anything for them as far as where they should be. I know a little bit about them, not enough though to really comment on it, so I'm going to refrain at this point. Okay, that is it. Thank you all so much for coming in. We're going to call it a day. We're going on an hour as it is already. We'll see where tomorrow brings us. Tomorrow, hopefully, was going to be a better day for us. Miners here are hopefully still doing pretty good here after hours right now. Let's see where IREN's at. IREN is still That's up 8%. So it went down a little bit. It was up higher. It was around 12% at one point, I think. So it's come down a little bit. And then we'll see where we go tomorrow. All right. Again, thank you so much for coming in, as always. Love you all. I hope you guys have a great night. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'll talk to you guys then. Bye.